Hallo alle! Today we're going to be taking a look at another German song that we can twist to our will to learn German grammar. The song we're looking at today is Gewinner by Clueso. This song title means either winner or winners. We don't really know because of the ambiguity of the plural form of Gewinner. And there's also a second part to this which is Verlierer, which means loser or again losers. I personally like the ambiguity here because you don't know if both people are winning, both people are losing, and it kind of gives a little extra something to the dynamic that we have in this song. But the cool thing about both of these songs is it can teach you how to conjugate regular verbs in the present tense, which is awesome! First two lines of the song Gewinner are actually using the RCS form. An allem was man sagt ist auch was dran. On everything that one says, there is always something next. Here we have two verbs conjugated to the RCS form. Man is the subject of the first two verbs, which is sagt for both. Man is used as the collective you, one, or they. For this reason, we use the third person singular form of the verb, which requires the T ending. At the end of this line, we get our first form of sein, which is again the RCS form, but this time our subject was was, which is more than likely a shortened version of etwas, meaning something. The form we are given here is ist. Egal wer kommt, egal wer geht, egal es kommt nicht darauf an. It doesn't matter who comes, it doesn't matter who goes, it doesn't depend upon that. The first two verbs here are conjugated to go with wer, which is the nominative case question word for who. This question word requires the RCS form, which is why both kommt and geht end in a T. The last clause is the first play on words that we find in this song. He returns to the verb kommen but adds the prefix an, which in this sentence changes to the verb ankommen. When used with the word darauf, this means to depend upon that. Again, he uses the RCS form of this verb because es is the subject, which is in English it. The next two lines of this song show the part that I'm most fond of as a teacher because it shows two very important forms of the same verb in succession so that you can see how the verb would be conjugated for the ich and du forms. I particularly like this version because it highlights some subtle differences that occur in the German language. Ich glaube nichts. I believe nothing. Ich glaube an dich. I believe in you. Glaubst du an mich? Do you believe in me? Ich glaub mich auch. I believe I do as well. Here we are given the ich form and the du forms of glauben, which means to believe. In German and in English, there is a distinction between believing something or someone and believing in someone or something. This is made abundantly clear with the difference between believing nothing, nichts, and believing in someone, an jemanden glauben. Also, it just sounds cool. The last line of this verse says, Ich frage mich, ich frage dich, doch frage ich nicht, fragst du dich auch. I ask me, I ask you, but I don't ask, are you asking yourself as well? This again gives us the ich and du forms of the verb, but it also gives us the accusative forms of the pronouns ich and du, which are mich and dich. Finally, in the chorus, we get something interesting. Here he conjugates the verb sein half of the way through. Ich bin dabei, du bist dabei, wir sind dabei, uns zu verlieren. I am involved, you are involved, we are involved in getting carried away. The alternating lines of the chorus switch back and forth between saying the second and third clauses as statements and as questions. If you combine this with the form of sein that we were given in the first verse, the only two forms that we are still missing is the Sie, formal you, and the ihr form. The Sie form is the same as the wir form, which is what we were given before, which leaves only the ihr form of sein, which is seid. If we complete the conjugation that we were given, we end up with Ich bin, du bist, sie es ist, wir sind, ihr seid, sie sind, sie sind. Leichter als leicht geht es vielleicht leichter als das, was vielleicht war. Simpler than simple can it go, perhaps simpler than that which perhaps was. Leichter als leicht, das ist nicht weit von hier zu dem, was noch nicht war. Simpler than simple, that isn't far from here to that which has not been. These two lines don't really do anything for our search to conjugate verbs in the present tense, but it's a nice play on words and I didn't want you to miss out on that. Suchst du mich, dann suche ich dich, ist die Versuchung groß genug. Are you searching for me, then I am searching for you, is the temptation great enough. Again, we are giving the ich and du forms of the verb suchen, which means to search or seek out. Now seems like a good enough time to point out that he likes to take the e at the end of the ich form of the verb out if the next word starts with a vowel. This allows him to shorten the syllable count down to what makes sense for the line, and you will also hear this often in conversational German. A lot of people would write these forms with the ich form without an apostrophe, but technically there should be one there to indicate that the e is missing and should be there. Ich lasse es zu, komm lass es zu, komm lass es uns noch einmal tun. I am letting it happen, come on let it happen, let's do it again. I'll let you draw your own conclusions about what is meant here. Ich gebe nicht auf, Gehst du mit mir mit auf uns zu? I'm not giving up. Are you going with me? Are you going with me to reach out to each other? Here we find the verb gehen in the do form and geben in the ich form. Be careful not to think that these are the same verb. Obviously there's only one letter difference between these two, so they do sound similar, but geben is irregular and would take the form gibst if it were used with the do form. Fällt dir nichts ein, komm leg nicht auf, komm reg dich auf und komm zur Ruhe. If nothing occurs to you, don't hang up, come get annoyed and then relax. Here we have 3 instances of the command form for the verb kommen in the do form. Some of these forms are then followed by another verb in the do form command. Auflegen, for instance, is to hang up when talking about being on the phone. In the command form, it is used with do, it means leg auf. Aufregen is to get excited, but it can also mean to be annoyed or irritated. Now that you know what this song is actually saying, what is it actually saying? If you haven't noticed, this song is a little bit ambiguous as far as what is actually being said, what the point of the song is. Every song has a point, so I want you to try and figure out and leave it in the comments down below. What is this song about? Who's the Gewinner in this? If you want to know more information about this particular song, you can go ahead and click over here on this link or the one that's down in the description. Aber das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss. Ich gebe nicht auf. Gehst du mit mir mit Ich bin dabei. Obviously they sound similar because there's only one letter difference between the two of them. Obviously they sound pretty similar because they sound similar to each other because there's only... Here we have 3 instances of the command form for the verb kommen in the do form. Some of these forms are then followed by another verb in the do form command. Some of these verbs are then followed by another verb in the do form command.